Hello, and welcome to Switchpoint. Today's review, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, specifically the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. To say the wait for Metroid Prime 4 was a long one is to minimize the Empire State Building.
Stick to it.
What? Man, come on!
The previous 3 entries are some of the best games of Nintendo's history. Hell, the only reason Metroid Prime isn't in my personal top 5 games of all time is because Metroid Prime 2 is already there. All 3 games are just that good. I'm sure you know, but if you didn't, they originally announced this game with just a logo in June of 2017, the Switch's first major E3 Direct. Back then, the game was under development by Bandai Namco, but roughly 2 years later was scrapped and development moved back home to Retro Studios. After many years of silence, Metroid Prime 4 was re-revealed in 2024, with the Beyond subtitle and a 2025 release year, in a moment that made me scream my head off. Seriously, I'm a floating head now. Finally, after nearly 20 years since the last mainline entry, and over 8 years since the original announcement, Metroid Prime 4 is in our hands, and I've played it. Is it a banger? Well, let's find out. The game starts out on the planet Tanamar, the location of a Galactic Federation research base, as if being attacked by Rat Bastard and Prime Hunters alumni Sylux, who along with the Space Pirate Army is here to wreck the place. Samus Aran, however, arrives just in time to try to stop the attack and help the GF soldiers escape, as well as secure a valuable artifact they uncovered. After some advancing and a cool as hell boss fight, however, the dude himself shows, idiotically shoots the artifact, and causes a huge blast, teleporting everything in its vicinity to Vuros, a planet no one has even heard of. Samus awakens and is introduced by recordings to Volune, the final priest of the now extinct race of Lemorn, who tasks her to carry on their legacy by finding 5 keys to a master teleporter and leaving with their memory in tow. Soon after, you're thrown into the first level, Fury Green, to start your journey home. Beyond has a solid story, right in line with other entries of the series. An alien planet Samus has to leave, but makes sure to study up on as she makes her way out. A scholar she truly is. What differentiates this game, however, is the most controversial addition. Along the way, you quickly run across one Miles McKenzie, a surviving Galactic Federation soldier. Soon after being rescued, he offers to help along the way as an engineer, and of course add conversation. Depending on who you ask, he's either a solid new addition that barely gets in the way, or they're Hitler. I think you may know where I stand. For real, dude. When I saw previews drop, I will admit that I was a little skeptical of Miles, like many of you. But to immediately jump to Jar Jar Binks comparisons was already a bit much, and especially after playing, he really isn't that bad. In fact, none of the soldiers are. Yes, you heard me, there's more than one. The first you meet is Miles, but soon after, in the third area, you meet a new, more reserved sniper with an injured leg, so he just helps over comms occasionally. There's also a really sick robot dude in the later section that I really should have recorded a little footage of. God, I loved VUE 995. And a duo of soldiers, one of which being a huge fangirl of Samus herself. Fact of the matter is, the cast of characters are honestly enjoyable and do not hinder the game. I think if you took the dialogue of every character and smushed them all together, you'd get maybe 50 minutes of lines in total. You still spend a vast majority of this game by yourself, in your surroundings, with nothing but the atmosphere to soak in. Not only that, but Prime 4 does a good job at making these characters stand out amongst each other and making them likable. Yes, likable. The acting in general from these characters is very well done, easily trumping most other Nintendo voiceovers, to be honest, and they never annoyed me much. Hell, even when they did, they're certainly not the first or worst offender of the series, namely of Prime 3's Aurora unit. Which, I mean, God, this isn't even the first Prime game with other characters, as Corruption did have the 3 bounty hunters, and I dare you to name all 3 of them. I barely can, and I played that game less than 2 months ago. I still love you though, Prime 3. Mwah. Ultimately, however, this does not detract from the gameplay, which is easily the best the series has ever played. Bar none, Metroid Prime 4's gameplay is pretty much flawless. For one, the new control scheme is nothing short of intuitive, and not only have multiple ways of play, including a hot swappable mouse mode for Joy-Con play, but are fully customizable. Nintendo games almost never let you do anything like this, so this threw me for a big loop, and I was so happy to see it. Funny enough, I originally thought my main control scheme was going to be the Wii-esque gyro controls, but I ultimately played most of the game with the dual-stick layout on the Pro Controller. You still get gyro for the fine aiming here, but the layout just feels so natural. That's another thing I loved specifically, the aiming. Prime's signature lock-on is back, with 4-direction dodging this time. But with the move of the right stick or your gyro sensor, the cursor can lock off in the middle and be used to aim at certain spots as you move around the enemy. Prime 3 also did this, of course, but it's even better done here, as the enemies feel even more made with this mechanic in mind. Whether it be for weak spots on a boss, or firing at other enemies on screen, you're nothing but capable when it comes to aiming. You've got plenty of weaponry here too. For one, after you lose damn near everything post-Brain Blast, Samus is given psychic powers, because clearly, Retro Studios took notes from 2 of the best releases from 2004 and knew that psychic shit is just the coolest ever. Not only do you now have a visor to detect hidden to the eye platforms and other doodads, you can also charge a blast to curve and move the beam in slow motion to either hit out of reach switches or multiple enemies in one go. I ended up using the Psychic Beam a lot later on, as once you get swarmed by more and more enemies, it's a great way to even the playing field. Same deal with the new shots, as you can swap out missiles for new weaponry, like fire and ice bolts. These take up a separate ammo bar, returning wonderfully from Metroid Prime 2, and it works so well here. These weapons, especially after obtaining their charge shots, are addictingly fun to use, and change up combat so well. So, it's true, combat rules, but it's even more exemplified by the absolutely phenomenal level design. Simply put, these levels deserve to be in museums. Fury Green is a good start, but Volt Forge, the second level, immediately kicks you into overdrive with some fun platforming sequences, tough enemy encounters, and phenomenal visuals. And the game does not stop there. I sincerely wish I could have been able to record this at 4K, but take my word, no matter if I played at the 4K 60 frame per second quality mode, or in handheld at 720p and 120 frames per second, Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 2 is a sight to behold. It's a gorgeous game in every regard, a crowning achievement in sights and sound, as this might be up there with Prime 2 as the series' best soundtrack. It's that good. For me, going back to levels, the highlight for sure is Ice Belt, the third area. Laid out almost like a Resident Evil level, for the first half it's completely dry of power, and not only feels cold but unwelcoming with the harsh winds and enemies. However, once you get deep and the power's back on and the music kicks in, Jesus fucking Christ. This is exactly when I knew that this game had the sauce. The sauce continues with the bosses, as there isn't a single bad one here. The highlight being from Volt Forge, but the game front to back is full of memorable and fun bosses. Another series staple if you ask me. The biggest addition gameplay-wise, however, is for sure the Viola, a godforsaken bike for Samus to drive around. This mainly gets used within the second level, where you find it, as well as the open hub known as Soul Valley for traversal and finding the hidden shrines and green crystals for more upgrades. But the controls are very, very well done here. Once again, Retro shows their skills from their Mario Kart days, and I love it. Okay, so quick rundown. Graphics, peak. Music, peak. Story, damn solid. Gameplay, to die for. Throw in some sick upgrades and you have yourself a bona fide masterpiece in the works. Is there anything wrong with this game? Well, no game's perfect. And truthfully, it's all within one area. Soul Valley, the open zone. Now, I don't think it's bad. I actually don't really mind it. For one, it's pretty small. This is no Hyrule. You can cross it within 5 minutes, and there's plenty of crystals to smash and enemies to shoot as you drive across the world. However, I wish there was just a little more to do in it. As far as I can tell, there's like 6 of those shrines in the entire game, and outside of that and some pickups, there's not much to do here outside of arguably the easiest endgame hunt in the entire series. There's also no music in this section, which I do get because it's a desert. They usually don't bump the tunes within the dunes, but I definitely would have appreciated at least something. For my money, this is the weakest part of the game for sure, but if a somewhat average hub is the weakest on the table, I'm feasting hard for the roughly 10 hours it took to finish. Simply put, Metroid Prime 4 is an uncut gem. It's absurdly skilled at nearly everything it does, and while it doesn't hit a home run on everything, it's at least a third base on everything. No matter how you experience it, you must experience it. It doesn't need experience in the previous 3, it is a standalone story, so there's no excuse. Amongst the sea of releases for the duo of Switches this year, Metroid Prime 4 stands tall as one of the easy musts. For that, I must give Metroid Prime 4 a well-deserved thumbs up. You know what? No. Bring all your friends in. This deserves many thumbs up. Retro Studios, congratulations on once again cementing yourself as one of the all-time best developers of the century. And it won't be long until I dive back in to play that hard mode. Maybe I'll even go for 100% this time. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. Take care, everyone, and until next time.